Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. We are here at a rather noisy Vienna airport, a Microsoft Flight Simulator, the VATSIM network as well. We're connected to that. And as you can see, we're here at stand Foxtrot 36 in the Austrian Airlines Embraer 195. And today we're going to take it on a first flight exploring the early access for the FSS E190. My goodness. Let me guess, GSX. Hello to MPS Gaming, welcome. Rab Badger, good afternoon. Jay as well, commentator Carlito, welcome folks. Hope you guys are well, and everyone else joining us for today's live stream. We're off to Chisinau in Moldova, small little island, or small little coastal nation rather, off the Black Sea. But this whole focus of today's live stream is about this, the E190 and 95, just released by FSS in their early access, like they did with the 170 and 175 last year. And we're going to explore this today in great detail. We're going to start cold and dark, we're going to explore lots of its features, we're going to talk about what I think of their latest add-on, which is, again, in bold, capital letters, early access, and with a lot left to be done as well, to be honest. It's one of those things that we'll explain in the cruise. I've got an element of frustration with the kind of slow progress that FSS have been making with their Embraer products for the sim, not least because it doesn't have a custom autopilot or a custom LNAV or a custom VNAV, and these are key functions that I think should be with the aeroplane package, to be honest with you, certainly after a whole year since the release of the 170, 175, but hey ho, we'll see what progress has been made in that long 12 months indeed. Doc, welcome. If you're new to the channel, it's great to have you on board with us today. Hit like and subscribe, say hello in the live chat, share your thoughts with us as well as we fly along on today's awesome little route, as Doc says. We're going to spend a little while on the ground, kind of just having a little look around at the model and its features. The aircraft itself, two variants, comes with a variety of different liveries, this one being one of the included liveries for the Embraer 195, of course. The KLM one apparently has got the incorrect flag on it. Trammable horizontal stabilizer there with its gauges and readings, and it's got a cabin inside as well, which we will look at too. But all round, certainly the external model looks really good. They've also created a GSX profile which is included with the product, and if I just jump in here, they've also gone into a couple of little bits of extra detail like this. Buonasera, Hergy, welcome. So we'll just have a little look throughout the whole thing in great detail. Now ultimately it's still a very raw package, like the 175. Externally looks really good. I haven't flown it myself yet, so today is a first for us, as we have a really good look at all of the detail included with this. Hopefully it will allow you guys watching to decide whether or not, as I said in the description on Discord, whether or not you think it's worthy of parting with your hard-earned cash on a product with a lot of work left to be done, or you'll hang on and you'll wait for it to be completed. The choice is yours. If you do want to purchase it though, there's a link in the live stream description. The best place to buy it is on Contrail, and there's a link there that will take you straight to the product page. Living the Dream says the FSS E-Jets have crashed his sim after his flight in Norway this morning, and regretting his buy now, he says, by the sounds of it. A lot of little details. My goodness, I can actually read that on my 4K screen. Designation MLG side stay. Part number 170-701-50403. Whoosh. Again, there's an argument there of whether or not you need that detail on the model or not. There's those Pratt & Whitney engines. I think they're Pratt & Whitneys, aren't they? Just slowly rotating there with the light breeze that we've got. Crisis 2K, welcome buddy. Aviation Simulation, hello to you. Sam's saying he's not too familiar with the fidelity of the aircraft and how it is unsure whether it's worth buying at the moment. Hopefully today helps you decide. And I'm curious to hear all of your thoughts as we fly along and explore the jet, so share them away in the live chat. And I'll do my best throughout this no doubt busy stream to answer any questions that you guys might have too. Saren says he's going to hang on. You never know the future of these companies. The time all the fancy stuff is added, 10 more aircraft has come out and it gets forgotten about. I mean, ultimately they've got one person apparently working on their LNAV, VNAV, and one person working on the autopilot, which seems rather under-resourced to me, to be honest. But yeah, it's one of those things you've got to be dubious of a little bit, cautious of. Can't just throw your cash at these things willy-nilly. Living the Dream says the FSS support is terrible. They don't care after 4 weeks of trying, and they just basically give up trying to answer his questions. And Living the Dream has been having a number of problems with the serial licenses with both the E170 package and the 190 packs. Haven't you? And they haven't really been able to solve it, I don't think, by the sounds of it, Living the Dream, have they? So he has to uninstall it and reinstall it every time he wants to play and fly on the sim, which isn't ideal. In fact, it's pretty useless. But that's the external model. There's not really much else to kind of explore just yet till we get the hydraulics on, and then we're going to have a little look at the animations like the elevators and all that sort of stuff. The rest of it is inside the jet. So a toggleable cabin that we can turn on and off. What we'll do is we'll fire up GSX and begin boarding as well. Boarding requested. As I said earlier, it has a custom GSX profile with it included, which should, he says, open the cargo hold. There we go. Not sure if it's going to open the front one though. We will find out. We're not due to push back for about 35 to 40 minutes roughly, so we've got a long I say a long time on the ground, but we've got a good level amount of time to explore this aircraft in detail. Okay, so it's not recognising the cargo doors. Steps are here though. Ta-da! Here they come. Okay, let's go and fiddle with the EFB. We'll walk the cabin first. We don't need the crew. We are the crew. Aviation Simulation's going to fly along somewhere. Clusen and Poja. Very nice. By the way, I've pinned it in the live chat, folks. Certainly if you're in the States or anywhere else in the world and you're thinking of going to FS Expo 2024 in Las Vegas in June, registrations are now open. And by clicking our own channel's dedicated link, it will give you the ability to help unlock additional perks just for our own community, like food and beverage vouchers at the event and all that sort of stuff, which is quite cool. So share away, book away using our dedicated link. I've booked. Now, I have noticed, just kind of mooching around, there are a few little features here, and I'm not sure how much they work. We'll explore, but these seem to be toggleable, which is interesting. We're just going to fire up the GPU, and the flight deck door is openable. It opens and closes. We'll venture into the flight deck for the first time, and before looking at the rest of it, we're going to dive straight to the EFB. And you can see the only thing I've done really is add this flight for today using our SimBrief connection, and you can simply click add, import from SimBrief flight plan. It will load everything, and then you press the little tick there. It comes onto the list here, and then you press the little tick again. I'm not sure why it's orange. To me, it makes sense if it was like just a clear white or maybe a green or something. And there we go. Vienna to Chisinau International, 1350Z to 1530Z, block 1 hour 40 with 95 passengers. Our route, cruise altitude, that's a weird way of displaying it there. Pilot command, me. But we'll click to ground. It doesn't allow us to, let's see. Let's see if it opens and accepts that by manually clicking those. Okay, so there's an issue with the included GSX profile, it seems. Oh, no. Hold on. It's recognised me doing the front, just not the rear. Let's watch it close. We'll try it again. Ace Airstream, hello, saying he's found that E-Jet's quite flyable recently, involving and importantly enjoyable to him at least. Main little irritation is click spots to speed altitude. They're difficult to click by the sounds of it. I've heard a lot of people saying that, to be fair. Get rid of the cones and the safety pins and the engine covers. We'll leave the chocks. Right, so it doesn't recognise that rear one there, which is a little bit pants. Apparently that's an issue with the E190. A lot of people saying it was fine on the E195 though. Doesn't appear to be though, but we shall continue without. In the little cog here, that's where you put your sim brief username, and you can change your G-force effects and the brightness of the EFB. If you'd like to fly first officer over there, you can tick that button and it will change the default view to the right seat. And then the aircraft option here allows you to toggle like the default state to turnaround mode, change the co-pilot voice to female or male depending on your preference, and a few other functions as you can see there too. And if you've got performance problems, then you can fiddle around with some of this display refresh rate there as well. And then depending on what you're flying, you can change the cabin layout accordingly. Dual class, single class, or pack everyone in, cram them in Ryanair style. There is a HUD for this up here. Push that, down it comes. We'll look at that throughout the flight, although I don't particularly like them myself. But you can select both if you want as well, or none. We don't want passenger announcements, although they are included. The reason why is because I'm using the Luke Air tool today, that really good bit of freeware that we have to get our cabin announcements for various airlines realistically. And then we've set up our throttle profiles like so. So idle is right at the bottom there. It's a bit confusing, to be honest, because the values on the outer gauges seem to be the ones that matter, but then the ones on the inside start up here and they go up, as you can see. So it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know, it's a bit weird. And you can link the two. If you've got a reverse on your axis, then you can enable that. On the Honeycomb Bravo that I've got, it doesn't have that, so I've left that deactivated. And you can set up a few different profiles there as well, as you can see. Right. So, load sheets. I've not done any of this before. Looks like there's a performance calculator there. And the load sheet's in pounds, which worries me a little bit. So I'm just going to go into SimBrief because there's no way to toggle between pounds and kilos. I use kilograms, so this is like an unnecessary headache. Zones A and B, forward 1, aft 2, and fuel 11,115. So now I'm going to have to convert all of this. That's 5,041, which isn't enough. I'll put 11,200 like that in. So what that's done is it's supposedly fed everything from our SimBrief flight plan. Settings cog to change the units. It's there in EFB. Is there? I must have missed that. I was looking for it earlier on as well. I'm looking, but I'm not seeing. Ah! My goodness, there we go. Let's see if that's changed. Yes! Much more sensible. I can understand these values. Okay, so we're expecting 2.9. Condition dry. Alternate option is 3-4, again dry, and we can pull in our data by pressing the little refresh, and it will allow us to calculate some speeds and things, and it looks like it's just pounded a load of weight in there as well, so no idea. Let's have a little look at firing the jet up, getting some of these systems activated. Once the passengers are boarded, I'm going to restart QATL because the cargo door issue's a bit annoying, isn't it, beeping away. Have we finished boarding yet? Yeah, it looks like we did. Alright, let's just restart QATL. Job's a good one. So I'm going to follow the FSS procedures guides throughout the stream just so I don't miss anything really pertinent and key. Initially for power up we want to go battery 1 on, battery 2 automatic, GPU should go available. Thought I'd toggled the GPU for GSX, but I think I need to toggle it there instead. There we go. I've clicked it. In use. APU control will... I don't really want to leave it. I'm not going to turn it on just yet. But we're going to make sure the nav lights are on and the logo lights as required. We'll leave them off for today, and then emergency lights go to the armed position. And now what we're going to do is look at bringing in our flight plan. Ooh, what's that? That's our... That's our heads-up display. Job's good. Right. Battery, PSI, crew. I'm looking for the bit that says weights. Fuel 4700, so that's not correct. Because we should have 5018. Do I have to change this somewhere else? Right, anyway, we'll continue because it might be somewhere else. I'm sure someone else in the live chat will know. We'll go to the flight plan page initially, and we'll go to route. And you can see it's fed in Vienna already, or low. Now, you can do two things, or two different methods of loading in your flight plan. You can either go to SimBrief, plan your flight plan as normal, or SimToolkit Pro, whatever you use, export that flight plan as an MSFS flight plan file, and then load it in via the world map. And it'll automatically load all of this in after the flight initialization, or, as we're going to do today, the SimBrief MCDU import. So we've done our flight plan in SimBrief, we're at Vienna, and that's already inserted automatically as our origin there, as we can see for our MCDU route page. Now we need to add in our destination, which is Lima Uniform Kilo Kilo. And then we're going to change our flight ID to... should be 6 Kilo Victor. If not, it will be how I've got it in the SimBrief. It will be AUA 6 Kilo Victor. And then press send, LS key 4. Check flight ID, that's fine. AU. Captain Loki says hello. 6 Kilo Victor. And then we'll try and press send again. Let's have a little look. Flight plan received. So, we click on downlink flight plan, which is this one here. To open the datalink flight plan list, we should see the fetched flight plan, he says. Get it to look. And then we press apply active. And it should have imported all of our route string with the exception of the SID and the star, because they're the variables within our flights, so we can have those varied and changed by air traffic control. So if we go on to flight plan, there we go. So our first transition out of the SID is Adama, and then Veda Alamu Ipari, Narca Busis, and then that's our transition into the star at Chisinau, which Doc has already pointed out I haven't pronounced correctly. Chisinau, apparently. Right, let's have a little look, see what else we've got. So menu's all blanked out, data links all blanked out except for ATS menu, which is all blanked out. Brilliant. On the radio page, we've got ground 1216. Somebody was asking about the fire control switch, or the fire test switches. I'm not sure if they're working, to be honest. There you go. That one works. Question is... Oh, I can't really... Oh, there you go. I was going to say, the question is whether or not it's within the systems there, and it is, which is quite good to see. There are engine cutoff switches and things. Takeoff config. It's got a steep approach mode, which we won't use today, but for those of you who like to blast into London City, or even Innsbruck, for example, then that would be potentially a really good thing to activate there. Flaps, speed brake with no arming kind of condition. Flight and real life is on short final, Doc says, very nice. We'll leave that off for now. So that's done. We've done the power up, except for the APU. Then we can think about the startup as well.
Good morning and ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Austrian flight.
QNH 1037. So we'll flick that across. So this is quite cool, and Living the Dream mentioned you can do this. So either you can twizzle the knob up here to change your QNH. Although a lot of people have said the click spots are quite finicky, or you can just look at the PFD and you can highlight your cursor. Hopefully you can see the cursor today, folks. I know sometimes it plays a bit silly. It says it's displayed on my side, but sometimes it's not actually displayed. And you can just hover over it and then use your scroll wheel to actually change the values, which is pretty neat, actually, to be fair. I like that a lot. So TCAS is grayed out, as is weather and checklists, map and plan systems. So if I go to this one systems page, oh no, we click it again. Flight control hydraulics fuel. I can't change the full fuel value for some reason. I need 5060. Perhaps we need to do it in this weight and balance menu.
Meister 0855, inbound, good afternoon, information go back, get to Naples, Stein 3 Charlie departure. Come to
5074, that'll do. Payload 9805. 9401.
Departure, Stein 3 Charlie, and initial turn by the 550.
That'll do, that's as close as I can get, I think, sensibly. So it doesn't seem to kind of have a link between this and the aircraft itself, unless I've missed a trick. Ace Airstream says, on EFB, manifest tab, send to MCDU and the FO will appear to type the data on his or her MCDU. Manifest. Ah, look at this.
Chenix 74 Echo Victor, push and start approved.
Push and start approved, Chenix 74 Echo Victor.
So is this going to also therefore update on my screen, on my MCDU? So I'm not clicking anything at the moment. I'm just watching. It's quite interesting actually. It's the first time I've seen this sort of thing default in an aircraft package. Although it did get stuck at 380 there, didn't it, on performance in it? Because the cruise altitude's actually 350, isn't it? Invalid entry. I'll try 35,000. Okay. Cruise winds, which is our average cruise winds, or average winds for the cruise. 016666. Done. Gauge fuel 500. Why is it 5010? We had 5070 a minute ago. Doesn't make any sense. And our correlation there to the gross weight, which on sim brief should be, yeah, that's pretty accurate actually. Zero fuel weight 38064. That's 38065. Okay, happy days. Next page. We'll ignore that. We'll go back here. Departure limitations. The speed limits 141. There's our V speeds. And before we go for any further, what we'll do is we'll get our clearance now. Departure. Adama 2 Charlie is what we're expecting, with an initial climb of 5,000, which is what we've got set in the box there. Runway 29 actually, if I bring the charts up briefly, because I think we could probably commit to this. Runway heading of 291. And according to the ATIS, the wind's at the moment 180 at 6. Which means we've got a slight tailwind of 2 knots. And the elevation 600 feet. We'll leave that as dry. Next page, flaps 2. Huh. Interesting. Actually, yeah, because it's, yeah, flaps 2's there. Thinking Airbus style, but it's not anything like that. So flaps 2 for takeoff. Flex temp 33, takeoff temp +8. That's all set from the manifest, I think, hasn't it, by the looks of it? And then our little departure performance calculations here a minute ago. We'll leave that on flaps 2. I like the idea of that. We'll try that. There goes my pen lid. Information Quebec, wasn't it just then? ATIS 1037, wasn't it? Transition altitude here, it's in Vienna. 10,000. Oh, chuffing it. 10,000, there we go. And then on our cruise page, that's fine. Descent page, we will look at during our cruise. But we can find a transition altitude, nevertheless. I think we'll go for 5,000.
370 Tango request, push and start.
Cruise descent landing, takeoff climb, approach speed, go around limitations, performance data.
Push start approved, QNH1037, Swiss 47 Alpha Tango.
Okay. So, let's see about our departure routing then. It's going to be runway 29, addon 2 Charlie. And then we'll apply that. So that's now added into our route page. Addon 2 Charlie, if we go on flight plan neg now, we'll see the waypoints. And we can compare those waypoints. We look at plan here. There we are. That looks like what we expect here. So 29 headed out to 1000, then left, heading south to 286, then 066 degrees, heading east, eventually working towards Adama. And there's a note here, max 205 knots.
900, looking to pick up my half RTX to Chisinau.
Osprey 569 Delta, information Quebec, Chisinau, Adama 2 Charlie departure, camp 25.
It's interesting to see that working like that. System depth wise, actually, there seems to have been a big improvement in what they've done, but it's still got the default Asobo autopilot, it's still got the default Asobo LNAV, and it doesn't have a VNAV.
Osprey 569 Delta, respect.
Doc saying, can you put NADP on the plane? I've not seen it, to be fair. I would have thought it would have been in departure limitations.
75 Chanix 74 Echo Victor, goodbye.
And if not, I would have thought it had been in here. But it doesn't seem to have the kind of facility for it, does it? Let's get our clearance then, folks. What are we now? We're Quebec, aren't we? So.
Good afternoon. This is Condor 1736 requesting.
Austrian 6 Kilovictors, our call sign.
1736, we got low defined.
Thank you, sir.
Being Grand, good afternoon. Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, Stan Foxtrot 36, Embraer 195 with Quebec QNH 1037. Request clearance to Chisinau, please.
From 6 Kilo Victor, information Quebec, cleared to Chisinau, Adama 2 Charlie departure, camp to 5000 feet, stroke 1501.
Cleared Chisinau, runway 29 at Adama 2 Charlie departure, initial climb at 5000 feet, and squawk 1501, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
From 6 Kilo Victor, respect, correct.
So, fuel. It's not in here, is it? It's not in that bit.
Austrian 905 information Quebec, request clearance to Innsbruck.
What we'll do is we'll go radio and transponder here 1501.
905, we got low information Quebec, cleared to Innsbruck.
Done.
1 Charlie departure, camp 5000 feet, squawk 1000.
And we can have a little look at the charts again just to work out. So we've got the Fisherman VOR 1104. We're not going to use it for anything. But what we might do is just tune it in anyway. So 1104.
37 over Tango request.
Just to kind of have it on the map display, just to see what it does. He says HSI weather FMS VL bearings.
Taxi to holding point runway 29 via Whiskey and QNH 1037, 37 Alpha Tango.
This is Alpha Tango confirmed via Mike, Whiskey and Mike.
What is for this 37 Alpha Tango?
FMS1.
It would be perfect if you confirm Whiskey and Mike, you just say Whiskey.
VOR2
Whiskey and
1104.
Mike for the runway 29 holding point 37 Alpha Tango.
We'll whack that in there as well. Although that was on auto FMS then. So if we clear,
It's the proof Austrian 709 now.
wonder if we force it to go back to automatic.
Osprey 569 Delta, request start.
No, there's no way to do that.
569 Delta, start the full.
1501.
569 Delta, thank you.
Condor 1736 requesting start up to.
Oops.
Condor 1736, start approved.
Unlocked. Let's close the flight deck door. Just realised as well, actually, we've still got all of this open, haven't we?
Squawk to 1000 when you have time.
Squawk 1000, Condor 1736.
Close that. Probably gonna have to dip out the flight deck here as well. Smash. Say bye bye to the ground staff. Where's the handle? There it is. GSX. Prepare for push departure. I'm going to get rid of that because I hate heads-up displays. I think they're an absolute mess. Flight directors. Yep, that's active.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Ground Tower Ryanair 7 Juliet Foxtrot with you on Delta.
Condor 7 Juliet Foxtrot, Wien ground.
Flight director 2 for him.
Charlie 35, fire Delta and Lima.
What's FPR mean?
Charlie 35 Delta and Lima Ryanair 7
No, we'll just make sure everything's closed. So it hasn't got rid of that, hasn't got rid of that, and we need to start the APU. So we're kind of getting the tug-in position ready. We go APU on, then start.
United 1037, taxiway to the 5.29 via Mike, with 0855.
And you can see there on the system page, just here, the APU begins to fire up.
Swiss 7 over Tango, IQ2 is intersection.
Here's the sounds, hopefully you can hear them over the ATC.
Malta 7 Alpha, Swiss 7 Alpha Tango, Roger, Hollywood Alpha 3 approved.
Holding point Alpha 3 approved.
And a couple of little emissives there as well.
Condor 7 Juliet Foxtrot, give way to Swiss A320, right to left on 50.
Lifting the front of the aircraft up.
And if you can repeat for 7 Juliet Foxtrot.
APU's on 100. We don't want to do that just yet. We'll make sure we're ready with all of this. Where's the seatbelt signs? Passenger oxygen, pressurization, automatic, lead APU. Windshield heating. Fasten seatbelts, no smoking. I can hear the little chime in the background there, that's good.
134675.
Beacon lights on.
7 Alpha Tango.
Electric pump system 1 and 2 automatic. Hydraulic PTUs on automatic. Electric pump B on automatic. Pump A is off. Passenger oxygen is automatic. Bus ties, IDGs all auto. I think we're ready to go, folks. Let's go for it. Should we see what we get? That's all closed and great. By the way, it does also have Navigraph charts as well, so you can bring these up here too.
Give way again to an Austrian aircraft coming out of St. Echo, right to left.
A couple of checklists. So before start, verify altimeter set, passenger signs on, departure review, part brakes set or off before start checklist completes, and then engine start up. Where's the AC pumps? Oh, there, on automatic. Okay, we want those on apparently. AC pumps 1 and 2 on automatic, on, nav lights on, APU start, bleed air, APU, displays verified, checked, and then engine start. I've also, by the way folks, set some custom views for today. If you enjoyed today's live stream as well, make sure you give us a little thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. And once this transaction is complete with this pilot and the controller, we will get clearance to push. And Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, stand Foxtrot 36, request push start.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, push and start is approved. Blue line.
Push start approved, blue line, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Release parking brakes, please.
Which is why it's important
And Austrian
to have
709
custom
available for Alpha 3 intersection.
profiles. Right, this took me a long time to solve. They use a different keybind to any other aircraft I seem to have with the part brake, but now we can turn that off and toggle it.
All engines
And they've
start exit.
apparently modelled the engine start with the thermal kind of warm-up that you have to do with this as well. Beacon on, engine 1 and 2 start. Engine 1.
Osprey 784, push and start approved. Blue line. Disregard orange line.
Push and start approved. Orange line. 784.
Why? APU's on. That's all on. What have I missed?
Please set parking brakes.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start.
Got that.
You can disconnect.
I'll turn it off. Let's see what we get. Bleed APU valve open. Right. There we go. So that I thought the white line would be showing that it's connected, but that's apparently off, I think, by the looks of it then. So, engine 2. We'll listen to the start.
Americana 1736, that was my fault. I have not told you that you should turn right onto whiskey, so please make a right turn via Echo and then back to whiskey.
Roger, recommend after that back to Whiskey, Condor 1736, excuse me.
Austrian 7 Golf, Foxtrot, taxi holding point runway 29 via Whiskey and Mike College 103.
Bypass pin removed.
Whiskey Mike 1237 and we can expect Alpha 3 for information of the Golf.
Here.
Yeah, contact Alpha 3.
So you have to leave the engines running at about idle for 2 minutes. Let's have a little listen externally.
Austrian 905, request start and pushback.
Austrian 905, push onto the both orange line.
So he's going ahead,
Start approved, orange line.
hence he got the orange line, we got blue, so it allows them to stagger and deal with a pushback. Hydraulic 1 low pressure and hydraulic 3 pump A not on, that's because we haven't turned it on yet. Now we can. And engine 1 and 2 are both on, so APUs as required. Electric pump A is on, taxi lights on, flaps need to be set, but there is a note. To avoid power interruptions, it is recommended to wait 30 seconds after the N2 stabilises before shutting down the APU or GPU disconnection, or to use the electrical synoptic page to follow the power transfer.
Holding point runway 29 via Mike College 1037.
Which is this one.
Point 29 via Mike Osprey.
And those being on, therefore I would assume.
Canada 1736, holding point Alpha 2 via Mike College, Vienna 134, that's 675. Bye bye.
APUs there. And we've got green lines for engines supplying power now, and white lines for the APU, so therefore the APU can go off. Flight control page. Fully right on the stick, back to neutral, fully left on the stick, back to neutral, all the way back, back to neutral, fully forwards, back to neutral, rudders, left and right, neutral in the middle. But again, with most aircraft in MSFS, I always give it a little wiggle just to be on the safe side. Right, what else? What else? Flaps 2. They're set. So that's extending there. And there go the flaps itself as well.
You have cleared here for orange line.
Sorry, it's Parastia 905.
There won't be much sound on that view because it's technically an internal cabin camera view, if that makes sense.
905.
Reinforcement 3 Foxtrot, push and approved, blue line.
So yeah, thermal kind of warm up of the engines, you've got to leave them on idle for 2 minutes at least before you get to a stage where you can apply takeoff thrust, apparently. So that's one of the things we have to be wary of. Some of the other things as well they'll want you to do is enable nav mode, which then enables LNAV. There's no VNAV, so you can't click VNAV, sadly. Which would make it potentially difficult for us to begin with, because actually what we will need to do is set 1,000 feet initially for after takeoff, because we don't have a VNAV, therefore actually we've got more work to do. So we're going to have to set this to 1,000 because the aircraft won't respect it otherwise. And then when we're through that, we can then continue our climb up. Heading, we need to set to runway heading of 291. Add auto brake to RTO. Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, request taxi.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, taxi holding point runway 29 over Whiskey and Mike on H1037.
Taxi to hold point runway 29 via Mike QNH1037, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor confirmed via Whiskey and Mike.
By Whiskey and Mike, thanks, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. I didn't hear that first bit. So that actually also means I need to zoom in on these charts because Whiskey's not actually on here. So I've got to go Whiskey to out here from Pier North, turning right on Whiskey, following it down, which is this one here, and then going on to Mike, which is this one here. Okay, makes sense. So, brakes off, and depending on your weight, you will be able to taxi on idle. But also, forgot to mention earlier, the window's open. Smooth flying, welcome. Ace Airstream, no, you can hover over it. I'm just going to try and show various methods throughout the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Osprey 4, taxi holding point runway 29 over Whiskey and Mike. Follow the aircraft on your right side on H1037.
QNH1037, taxi to all point runway 29 over Whiskey and Mike. 784.
Austrian 905, follow the aircraft in front of you on point runway 29 over H1037.
What else do I need to activate on this? Flight dectors, LNAV. Do I need to do altitude arm? Now, I'm not sure if all of my keybinds will work with this, by the way, folks. Yes, we need to click Toga as well, which is here. And then we get flight directors go roll mode and Toga. Rogue ground cruise.
And follow the
Ian, hello buddy. You certainly can. Oh yuck, my coffee's freezing cold. Take off config mode as well, we've got to click that. Although I've clicked it, and nothing has happened. I'm going to just change the trim here as well, I'm just going to move it a bit more neutral just to see what it does. I'm using my mouse, Dario.
Oxygen masks will drop from the panel above you. Pull down the mask from the retainer. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask.
Vivi Silver, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Great to have you. Next controller 134675.
And other passengers.
Austrian 473 Foxtrot, I might have forgotten the coordinates to tell you. It's 103703.
Smith RF, welcome. 134675. Com 1, standby.
A life vest is located under your seat. Upon order from the crew, take the life vest.
I haven't flown this before, so this is a genuine first. I have no idea what I'm doing really with this.
Pass the strap around your waist. Fasten it at the front and pull it tight.
They're back on auto. Pumps need to go on auto. You scroll here as well, it increases the range like so.
Aircraft through the emergency exit. Pull the red tag to inflate the vest. If necessary, a life vest can be inflated by blowing into the red tube. Cross your arms in front of your life vest.
This is where I'm really thankful for Navigraph's proper chart overlay here, because I can actually work out where we're going properly. That'll be right, Mike. We'll use Alpha 1 for full length. You can see after takeoff it wants us to begin a left turn straight away, and that USR waypoint looks a bit messy there, so it might already go wrong for us. So we might have to hand fly this first bit if it goes really bad. At 1,000 foot, to be fair, I'm not going to have autopilot on, so if we reset that back to 5. Do you have to arm this? Push feet to meters, we don't want to do that. That's going to be hold, I'm sure. Oh look, there's an Osprey Regional CRJ, very nifty.
In an emergency exit row, stow your carry-on baggage in the overhead bins only. Please be careful when opening the overhead bins, as items might fall out. In case of an emergency, you must leave all your carry-on baggage on board. Smoking is not permitted at any time.
You can see there it says Flex Takeoff 2 is active there.
All electronic devices with a transmitting function must be switched off or turned
UD then, it won't pressurise, I don't think. In flight you're not going to open the windows because of the way airflow over the aircraft anyway. It might still open in the sim, but it won't achieve anything by kind of seeing if that happens, if that makes sense. So we won't bother.
Austrian 8 kilo, wind low, 6 gate, Foxtrot 04 via Echo and Lima. Austrian 8 kilo, Foxtrot 04 via Echo and Deutschland.
04 Echo Lima Whiskey, Austrian kilo.
Austrian 8 kilo via Foxtrot 04 and Echo and Deutschland.
Here we go.
The Austrian 705 sent Foxtrot 11 in, we have information Bravo in by 195, we can place the block.
Austrian 705, call you back. Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, contact Vienna 134.675 when it's night, bye-bye.
134.675 Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, thanks, bye.
Osprey 784, contact Vienna 134.675 and share flight, bye-bye.
134.675.
Just trying to sort this out real quick.
Bye-bye.
Alpha 945, taxi holding point Alpha 2, contact
To Chisinau today, I think Luke is testing the FSS E190.
Alrighty, good to know, thanks.
No problem.
Vien radar, good afternoon, Austrian 6 Kilo Victors at the hold point, I think Alpha 1, runway 29, ready for departure.
Austin 6 Kilo Victor, hello to you, cleared for takeoff 29 on the wind 180, 5 knots.
Clear for takeoff, 29 Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, hello.
Right, Q, definitely, that's right, 14, 3 for with you, just...
TARA, 15.
We are available for takeoff out of Chisinau Alpha 3.
Okay. I have no idea what to expect here. Lights and signs.
When radar, Osprey forward, Alpha 1.
Cabin advised.
Osprey 784, hello to you, line up weight behind to departing Airbus EU. It's
Chrono.
Embraer 195.
We'll start that just to see what happens.
Behind Alpha 1.
And I'll start the control visualizer as well for you folks.
784.
And we have to arm auto thruster as well.
Oscar 905, hello to you, number 3 for departure, hold it Alpha 2.
Right, good afternoon, that's right, 14, 3 Foxtrot Alpha 3, ready for departure.
Okay, bit of power to 40%.
Hello, number 4 for departure, hold it Alpha 3.
Holding Alpha 3 off the 14, 3 Foxtrot.
Here we go. Auto thrust is active, speed's alive, and through 80 knots. I'm going to turn the tow eye tracker off because it's giving me like a weird
Osprey 569
kind of viewpoint. I don't like it.
Was not really as the chart say. What's happening?
I'm having an issue here. I
You want
apologize. Give me a
rotate.
second.
Alrighty, let me know when you're ready to turn over left.
V2, smash through V2, still rotating. Gently does it though, first flight. Airborne, positive rate. Gear up.
Osprey 784, cleared for takeoff, runway 29, the wind 180, 5.
Clear for takeoff, Osprey 784.
Oscar 905, behind the departing Airbus 320 Neo from the beginning, line up await, Alpha 2, behind.
Behind, A320 Neo, line up, 29er behind.
Engine TLA not toga. That's a bit better.
Osprey 569 Delta, what's your requested cruise?
Roger, I'm going to turn right to intercept the Whiskey 296.
569 Delta, let's make it easy, proceed from present position.
So auto thrust's not working.
Direct to, can you give me that phonetically, please?
Of course, Alamu, Alpha, Lima, Alpha, Mike, Uniform.
Got my work cut out here, folks, bear with me.
Alama, thank you.
And Osprey 569 Delta, continue climb, flight level 230.
And continue 230.
Deactivated auto thrust
Kilo
here.
Victor identified, climb flight level 180.
Climb flight level 180 and Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. So auto thrust is trying to get me to go to stupid speeds already. Was it 180?
Austin 6 Kilo Victor, direct to Alamu, Alpha, Lima, Alpha, Mike, Uniform.
Director Alamu, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Oscar 905, the wind is 180 with 5 knots, runway 29 cleared for takeoff.
Right, 29 clear for takeoff, Austria 905. Austin 473 Foxtrot, behind the departing company traffic, Embraer 195, Alpha 2, line up away to runway 29, Alpha 3, behind.
So just try to departure of Embraer 195, land runway, the beginning of Alpha 3, behind us, 473 Foxtrot.
This is messy as hell.
Andy Blue, correction, it's Osprey 784, identified, climb flight level 170.
So it's auto thrust is deactivated, yeah.
784.
Let's see what it does here. I think this is going to be messy as sin. Okay. $250. Auto thrust. Let's see what it does.
Austin 6 Kilo Victor, you're leveling off at 3000.
Negative, slight issue with auto thrust. Be returning to climb.
Roger. Austin 473 Foxtrot, the wind 180 with 5 knots, runway 29, clear to take off.
A quick cut runway 29, the wind cover, that's 473 Foxtrot.
18,000. So I don't know at what point it decided to level off at 3,000 there.
Austin 6 Kilo Victor, direct Narca, November Alpha Romeo Kilo Alpha.
Direct Narca, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Second direct 2 already, my goodness. No VNAV fly. There's no LNAV either, to be honest. It's pretty messy.
2700 Austria 905.
So what I would expect to see at this point is a really solid climb performance. We're not getting any. Let's try flight level change.
Delta, what is your requested cruise level?
Roger, I know that was another issue. Flight level 350, please.
Alrighty,
I've got a keybind set airstream to...
Continue climb to 350, Osprey 569 Delta.
My goodness. There's the takeoff config button there. If that's the one you're on about.
Skyway 6 Kilo Victor, climb flight level 230.
Fly flight level 230, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. This is a bit more like it, isn't it? But yeah, because it's a bit difficult, these little buttons here, in fact, they're what I've got set to a keybind for Toga, if that makes sense. So instead of me having to kind of look down, reach down, move a view, there's the auto throttle disconnect buttons, but it is hard to see, but these buttons right here, those two, I've linked to a keybind, which means that it just does it for me. It's still a bit messy though, but it's got a Sobo's autopilot. It's got a Sobo's LNAV inner workings, and it doesn't have a VNAV, so it's messy as hell. And that was an unnecessary headache actually on that departure there. I also don't want FMS2 active. Why have I got MF?
905 direct to Soville. Soville Austria 905.
FMS1.
Osprey 569 Delta, continue climb please.
I am continuing my climb.
Osprey 784, climb level 230.
230, 784.
Austin 6 Kilo Victor, contact Budapest radar 120.375, goodbye.
Budapest on 130.45 was it? Correction, 120.375, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Correct that. And the Osprey 569 Delta, Budapest now 120.375, have a good flight, cheers.
120.375,
Via Airlines 637, switch to Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
God, no idea how this is going to work out. Landing lights.
Switching to Unicom, yeah, 637, thank you very much.
Taxi lights.
Sky Travel 447.
Seatbelt signs.
Bucharest 122.030. Bye bye.
Sky Travel 4476, contact Bucharest.
Yeah, so because it doesn't have a VNAV, as Coyote said in the live chat there, it's missing the constraints in the FMS as well, meaning we have to deal with it ourselves. So all of this, our speed changes, the lot, it's all on us. And it's just a pain in the backside. It's not the sort of thing, as I'm hoping I'm proving today anyway, that it's not the sort of thing you could probably safely take on VATSIM without having many problems. At least already we've had a few, haven't we? Budapest Control, good afternoon, Austrian 6 Kilo Victors through flight level 130, direct Narca.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, Budapest, Servus, radar contact.
Budapest Control, Osprey 74 with you, passing flight level 170.
What else have we got on these checklists? Done that one.
Osprey 784, Budapest, hello, radar contact. Good day, Austrian 788, Lima, flight level 340.
Done.
Lima, Budapest, cruise got radar contact.
Cool.
Proceed direct to Notex. Notex direct, Austrian 788, Lima, thank you.
Yeah, I was climbing with vertical speed earlier, Doc, as well, just to kind of see how that worked. You have to, as we're all kind of figuring out, you have to work around a lot of the lack of functionality with this, and it's one of the frustrations that I've...
6 Kilo Victor, proceed direct to, and continue to Narca.
Wilco, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 784, turn right by 10 degrees.
Yeah, it's a bit of a headache this, and bearing in mind the Embraer 170 and 175 has been out now for a whole year. It's been out for 12 months. It's actually been in development for 24 months. I think it's a bit of a poor show for them to still be working on an LNAV, let alone an LNAV and a VNAV. But I wouldn't expect both to be done in a year necessarily. An LNAV, however, I absolutely would expect to be functional and reliable, and VNAV I would expect to have some progress with it.
Austrian 4 Victor Hotel, backing cockpit. Scan 4 Victor Hotel, roger.
Right, Narca and Busis. So we haven't got many waypoints left, because we've been given direct twos just to bin us out of their airspace, I think. I'll do the same as well. So, auto thrust a little bit messy, even pressing my toga keybind that I've got set for these little switches here.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, come to flight level 270.
Climb flight level 270, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. But we're making it up anyway. Sounds great. And it handled those direct twos in the SID fairly nicely as well. Now I know one of the other issues people have said that they have with this is the fact that it doesn't... It gets a bit confused on arrivals. It's got that good old Microsoft Flight Simulator sort of problematic autopilot behaviour in a star, where it then just goes direct to the airport and buggers the whole thing up. So I have no idea what to expect with that. We'll just have to play that by ear. But the model itself, as you guys can see, does look great. It sounds really nice. Variety of different sounds mixed throughout the cabin. Philip Schumacher, welcome aboard.
Osprey 784 resume on navigation, proceed direct to Karel.
Direct Karel, 784.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, maintain rate 1,500 feet per minute or less.
Wilco, 1,500 feet per minute or less in climb, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 784, maintain 1,500 feet per minute or greater.
1,000 feet.
So we'll wind that down, we'll go to vertical speed mode, and that's now commanded the auto thrust to change the power output as well.
1,500 or greater, 784.
Let's go to 290. So in climb profile 2, which is the kind of smoother climb profile.
3784, continue climb to flight level 330.
And it sounds like he's working a number of bits of traffic around us here. You can change to climb 1 here as well by just going to TRS the thrust rating select screen, and you can just flick that to flick between the two. Same with these, if you want to change to any of these modes you can do so. We just left it in automatic at the moment, which is recognising that we're in the climb phase and climb 2. So elements of the system depth is actually quite impressive. Heading push sync, we'll sync that with our direction of travel. We've got to make sure that's already done throughout the journey, certainly. Standard pressure, heading, ground speed. Can't do much more. What do you guys think so far? You guys are watching. You'll have to excuse my lack of ability as well, no doubt, but
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, continue climb to flight level 310.
Continue climb flight level 310, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Set. Smoothfly said he tried it for the first time yesterday and was unable to input any direct 2 waypoints in the arrival star. So I'm guessing it still does that really horrible thing where it just kind of zips you off in a random direction. Direct to the airport, right? Actually, no, well, so it thinks that it's an internal view. Was it control? No, it's this one. So it thinks it's a cabin view. Procedure guide. Minimum airspeed, positive rate V2 plus 10. Climb, VNAV is not implemented yet. Use flight change during climb. Target speed 250 to 270. Okay, so let's see what happens now then. If we bring it back to 270. Rapid deceleration, that's, I mean, that wouldn't happen in the real plane, surely. It's just gone boom, idle, and now it's going to have to smash itself straight to a lot of power again, because it's just actually dropped 10 knots below. So that's pretty rubbish. It's not smooth, is it? Use FPA mode for descent and plan to the according values. Add additional distance for speed reduction if necessary in descent.
What's 3569 data, continue climb to flight level 370.
Can I stop at 350, please?
Roger, in that case stop climb at 35.
We'll stop climb at 350, Osprey 569 Delta.
Oh yeah, Birdman. What happened with that? I thought Phoenix V2 Block 2 was coming out last month. And then slightly before Christmas, i.e. around about now. What's happening with that? I mean, so FSS have come out as well with the release of this. Want to go?
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, expect further climb in 2 minutes to crossing traffic above.
We'll go Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Drop it down to 800 and we'll see what happens. So armed at 310, amber, 800 foot per minute just to smooth that out. Got my work cut out. Feel busy doing this, that's for sure. Yeah, FSS put into onto their website the other day a bit of a situation report. I think it was called a situation report, in fact, explaining how that, in their words, we've all been waiting impatiently. I think they mean waiting patiently for this and for the custom LNAV and the custom VNAV to be implemented. But they've said themselves they are currently, as it stands, around roughly 6 months.
Austrian 4 Victor Hotel. Austrian 788 Lima, also proceed direct to Passat.
What the hell is going on here?
Passat, Austrian 788 Lima.
And Austrian 4 Victor Hotel, request hold at Passat, we need to burn some additional fuel.
4 Victor Hotel, Roger, expect hold over Passat.
Expecting hold over Passat.
FMS Narca. We're keeping an eye on this because I'm not convinced. I've redrawn a Direct 2 just to make sure we're on track, and I've zoomed right in here because I'm not convinced at all that even though it shows LNAV, I'm not confident that this is actually the... Yeah, look, we're just slowly drifting all the time. Not sure. Keeping an eye on that.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, continue climb to flight level 350.
Continue climb, flight level 350, thanks, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. And we'll smoothly go back into vertical speed mode. Higher altitudes, of course, as well. Holding our speed is a bit of a difficulty, so we're not going to be able to climb at the same rate that we did at the lower altitudes.
Hotel, expect the hold, but stop descend at flight level 150.
We're stopping descend at flight level 150.
I feel like they should be on then, no lights.
Austrian 788 Lima.
But then that would mean that's on.
To flight level 200.
Which confuses me because that's on, but then the AP bleed was on with no lights. So have they got that back to front? Not sure. Bit confusing. Right, where are we? A few other things as well with this, by the way. There's in here some sun visor blinds. You click that and then it goes up here. But I have noticed it clashes with the HGS somewhat. Where it kind of connects into there. So it's not the sort of thing that you would necessarily use much of. Okay, well there's our track FPA over there. But again, look at the LNAV line. Just not following it, is it? Correct, smooth flying. Well, they're involved in the development of the A330, which is a bit... with the lack of progress with this, albeit the textures are really nice and the sounds are quite good, the lack of the actual kind of key things like LNAV, VNAV to make it a seamless experience does worry me a little bit. But I've been assured that they are different teams, which then makes me think, well, are FSS spreading themselves too thin? Are they trying to get too much attention from various corners of the community? Because they're involved in the Aerosoft A330, They're doing their own Embraer E-jets, which they are struggling with, let's face it. And then they've got a different team working on those Technam aeroplanes. They've got that little Sea Light thing as well. Hello, Sammy Two Shoes. Hello, Tariq.
Osprey 93-2 with you.
Yeah, look, I don't understand why it can't follow that line.
Station connects again.
Osprey 93-2 with you.
Osprey 932 Budapest, good evening, radar contact.
Source. Nav. Wilfredo, hello. I don't know how to solve that. That doesn't seem to do anything. One to go. It's flying on heading right now, but it's losing the track. LNAV is showing active. Now heading is, because I've selected heading mode.
Osprey 3X Golf Budapest, good evening, radar contact.
We have got a good crosswind to 68 knots, as you can see there, as Tenured Amoeba was saying, but it shouldn't drift that much from our LNAV track. I know it doesn't have a custom LNAV, but these are really vital things on VATSIM.
788 Lima, continue descent to flight level 140.
By the way, I've been super bold with this, and I'm actually tracking it on New Sky as well.
Wien 134675, Austin 4 Victor Golf. Dankeschön, Servus.
If I go back to nav, I want to see what it does. So LNAV's now gone pink. So I've come slightly to the wrong side of our LNAV track because I want to see what it now does to recover this track line. Because, as Doc's saying, we're drifting into wind. If we were drifting because of the crosswind, we would be routing further out like this, and we'd be drifting to the right of track. But for some reason, we're drifting left of track, and that doesn't make any sense at all. So I've left heading mode over there, having just gone out of heading mode into nav again. LNAV is now the active mode. And now I want to see what it does. So we've crossed the LNAV line. And we're back on 084.
Good afternoon, EC2 059.
It doesn't make any sense.
Inbound.
Hello, EC2
at 70 knots, we wouldn't have. Now this is a train wreck on VATSIM.
EC2 059.
I have to fly this whole thing on bloody heading mode. FMS1. Alright, hold on. Let's have a little look here. FCGS lateral modes. Pilot's electrical navigational modes are roll, heading, LNAV, localizer back course. Non-selectable mode is track hold. Lateral navigation. LNAV engages when LNAV mode is armed, and it will engage when passing through 200 feet during a climb. The airplane is above 200 foot and the nav button is crest. The FMS becomes the source for lateral navigation, providing guidance through the flight director. No, and it wants to go back that way again. Limitations, approach types, procedures guide. They don't really talk about much more. I'm reading through their documentation. It doesn't make much more sense.
Turkish 1 Tango Mike, radio check.
Why is that selected there? FMS 2. FMS 1, FMS 2. Yeah, it does, yeah, the hood there, look, shows that we're right of track, yet here we're left of track. It's very confusing, isn't it? That's a good spot, Ian. So the heads-up display there, that line alongside the arrow suggests... Where is it? Where's Volanta? Let's have a little look. I mean, we're kind of on the track line, but you can see how much we're drifting. Alamu Ipari, Narca. Shall I put it back on LNAV and we'll see how close to Narca we end up? Bit of an experiment. Because now we're drifting quite far, aren't we? Let's see if we can do max 7-8. I don't think we can.
Magnum 50, greetings to Budapest, control. Atlas 340 inbound, take ready.
Mike November Foxtrot 50, good evening, radar contact. Proceed direct to Mavor.
Direct to Mavor for Mike November Foxtrot 50, thank you.
The other thing we need to do is chat about the arrival. So we can have a look at the METAR in our live chat today, LUKK. And that will give us our weather data into Chisinau, however you want to say it. QNH 1031 and the winds 290 at 10.
Osprey 9R32, continue climb to flight level.
This is the other thing that people have said. The click spots are actually really difficult to get. So just too much left or right of the key bind will just make it slip out into the zoom. At least that's how I've got it set up. Rab, nice.
Turkish 3-4, Budapest.
Budapest, hello, Turkish 1 Tango
Doc, Volanta's not on the screen.
Roger, check.
Turkish 1 Tango Mike, now I read you 5.
FO side should fly on the FMS 1-2. Oh, that's further up, I can't see that.
Sir, I just fixed my
I don't remember changing this one though.
No worries, reach to Unicom, bye bye.
Montague Uniform, bye.
Let's go back to LNAV.
Budapest, good afternoon. Ryanair 56 Golf Mike at Romeo 271 at Budapest. Information X-ray on board, requesting clearance to Milano.
Good evening, Ryanair 56 Golf Mike, clear to Milano. Gillap to Lima departure, runway 31 left.
Chance.
Initially climb 7,000 feet.
So, Narca, we're kind of up to the halfway point already. We can think about the arrival then. So we're expecting runway 27 into Chisinau with a 10 knot headwind and a 2 knot crosswind. We're going to fly the Busis 7 Echo arrival for the ILS 26.
Correct, report when ready.
We'll go.
Via Lusav, which is that one there. So it'd be an interesting one for the aeroplane to fly. In fact, it hasn't saved the charts either, so which means we have to go in here and find it. 26 on have arrivals. Here we go. So Buses, flight level 70 at or above, and then routing up to Lusav for the initial approach fix at flight level 70. Hello Jurassic, welcome. I hope you're well. From there, just watching the autopilot again. Look, it's about to cross the line. But oddly enough, the LNAV line on the nav display shows that we are left of track. This one now on the hood, however, shows we are on track and turning to join the track nicely. So there's that's just unnecessary headache. I don't use heads-up displays, so without seeing that now here on the heads-up display, I'd be none the wiser because of this. Not good. Anyway, from Lusav, 15.8 DME from the Chisinau VOR 1137. We have this little wiggly line and we'll be flying a 13.8 DME arc down to 3,500 feet and then turning inbound 261 to fly the ILS. And again, not flown an ILS, not landed it before. This is the first time flying this properly, so be interesting to see how it handles this DME arc as well.
34 Budapest.
Runway 26 thankfully is quite long, 3,590 meters in length, so we could just gently decelerate the aircraft and then vacate Charlie 1. And Doc's found the local stand, which I'll just dig out of Discord. Gate 5. So it looks like we're going to have to use this this heads-up display for the remainder of the flight today. Look at the discrepancy. So there, we're on track, flying the crosswind quite nicely. Here, not so much. Very confusing.
Ryanair 56 Golf Mike Roger, start push is approved, pacing exit point Papa.
Sync that. And what else? So ILS's chart's still on the screen.
Papa 1,
and we'll just look through the systems here to work out what we need to tune and what we don't. So charts off.
6 Kilo Victor, contact Bucharest 122.030. Bye bye.
Contact Bucharest 122030, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Thanks, have a good day. 122030.
Budapest.
Ay, ay, ay. Bucharest radar, good afternoon Austrian. 6 Kilo Victor is inbound Narca flight level 350.
6 Kilo Victor, hello Bucharest radar, radar contact.
Okay, so, oops, no, so it's not like that, we have to go to, ooh, how do you put the arrival in? Arrival, there we go, so route page, arrival, runway 26, ILS 26, transition Lusav, and the Buses 7 Echo, which is this one. Apply. What are you doing? Okay, we're at Narco.
Bucharest, good evening, Osprey 569 Delta with you flight.
Yes, darkness means you won't see the crash.
Osprey 569 Delta, hello Bucharest radar, radar contact.
Flight plan. Narca, Buses. I wanted to just get that in before we hit Buses, or the next waypoint being Buses rather. It's 256 nautical miles, that's fine. So back on the route page anyway, we've put the arrival in, haven't we? So let's have a little look. We've got a double Lusav, so we'll clear one of them.
Bucharest radar, Skyways 5556 with you climbing through 2200 for 3000.
Okay, so it's got a double.
Last call station.
Adrian, great to have you. Welcome. Darren, good
Skyways
afternoon.
5556 climbing through 2600 for 3000.
These are the radials.
556 radar identified. Climb flight level 280.
Roger, climb flight level 280.
Let's see
Skyways
if this.
5556.
Skyways 5556, turn right, heading 310 degrees.
And right turn heading 310 degrees, Skyways 5556.
Waypoint centered. Buses. Lusav. Radial 1. Won't let me flick across.
That's right, can you
Which is
confirm
annoying.
flight level for Skyways 5556 again?
Skyways 5556 for now, climb to flight level 280, and after that, your cruise level is 360.
Alright, but it looks like
Yeah, Roger, climbing to 280, Skyways.
it looks about right. We're just gonna have to play it by ear because the aircraft can't do any better. Birdman, that's what I've just been trying, buddy. That's what that message meant here. Invalid action arrival. But it's fine. You should duplicate one, if not it will delete the other. And that Lusav will then click R347. I'd imagine this is going to go only one way and it's going to be a direct in the star and it will get messy. I think that's just how this seems to want to work. Heading, resync.
127075, spray 2105.
Oop.
Skyways 5556, proceed direct to Karil.
Very bright or off seems to be the way. So I'm just getting ready for darkness.
Bucharest radar, hello, this is Adrian 870 with you. Adrian 870, hello Bucharest radar, set scope 1000 please.
By setting up all of our lights as required. I reckon we can get away with half. Same with the pedestal as well. Smooth Flying's had the same problem, unable to modify arrival waypoints. Alright, well, we'll just see what happens, I think. We can't do much better than this, I don't think.
Sorry, somebody spoke over you. Could you go again?
I mean, externally, this is a wonderful bit of modelling. The engine animations there look a bit weird.
Direct to Summit.
In fact, the whole engine looks see-through there, doesn't it? You see it? Yeah. Bit weird. Jan's asking what my thoughts are so far. So external model, really nice. The emissives, really good. And the sounds, I think, are actually quite nice as well, to be fair. The systems, you can see they've made effort with a number of the aircraft systems, like the hydraulics, the electrical systems, the air conditioning, pressurization systems, all of that sort of stuff is in the aircraft, which is really nice. But the real key things, key features that have to really have to be in the plane: LNAV, VNAV, custom FMS, custom autopilot. They're not here, and that's been an issue, which has been a problem with the E170 and 175 since it's released a whole year ago, and nothing's changed. What they've done is they've put the same level of system depth into this and gone, here we go, here's an E190 at an early access price, please buy it. Would I recommend it at the moment? It depends if you fly on VATSIM or not. If you fly on VATSIM, no, don't waste your money. If you just fly on multiplayer and you're not fussed and you don't follow the SIDS and stars and the constraints and the speed restrictions and all that sort of stuff, then it might well be that it's something that you want to buy. Kokomoka, yeah, so they're saying that a beta of the custom FMS and LNAV VNAV is going to come in summer 2024, but that's going to be a beta.
Osprey 784 Bucharest.
And they're saying that it's going to be around a year before custom FMS or LNAV VNAV actually comes through to us. Osprey 784.
Osprey 569 Delta, contact radar 127075.
You're being called.
Sorry, could you repeat that please? Osprey 569 Delta?
Osprey 569 Delta, contact radar 127075.
127075, Osprey 569 Delta.
Osprey 784 Bucharest.
Go ahead, 784.
There we go.
Osprey 784.
What do you guys think though? You're watching. You're seeing me interact with the jet for the first time, getting used to how it all works. What are your thoughts so far? Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you think, you know, the emissives, the textures, the actual build of the aircraft is really nice, but the key features that are missing are just too key to forgive? These move as well.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, contact radar 12700757. I tried, goodbye.
Contact radar 127075, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, thanks, good night. Oh yeah, that's got to be coming out soon, the Anybuild's A310, 127075.
Alpha?
Osprey 569 Delta, Bucharest radar, hello, identified. Clear.
Aviate, hello.
Echo arrival. Expect airnav.
I mean, this won't appeal to everyone.
26.
I hope that wasn't an RNAV.
Bucharest Control, Osprey 784 with you, flight level 330.
I can't do an RNAV in this. It doesn't do RNAVs. Because it doesn't have a custom LNAV VNAV.
Bucharest radar, hello, identified. Expect to Vienna 8 Echo arrival for airnav approach, runway 26.
Ah.
During 8 Echo arrival, airnav runway 26.
This is also why I'm doing this live on VATSIM, because some people might frown on the fact that I'm doing it on VATSIM, naturally. I always say myself as well, don't take a jet out on VATSIM straight away yourself, but it will mean that you guys can see it in the flesh, under pressure, and me trying to fly as accurately as you would on the VATSIM network using this kind of aircraft in the state that it's in, so whether or not it works or not. Bucharest radar, hello, Austrian 6 Kilo, Victor's flight level 350 inbound, Buses.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, hello, Bucharest radar identified. Expect Buses 7 Echo arrival, expect airnav approach, runway 26.
Buses 7 Echo arrival and sadly unable for the RNAV. Could I take the ILS 26, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor? This can't do RNAV approaches.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, Roger. Expect Buses 7 Echo arrival, ILS approach, runway 26.
Thank you, Buses 7 Echo arrival, ILS 26, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, one of the big questions is it VATSIM? You know, is it the sort of thing you can take on VATSIM? And you know, from this experience today, minus the mistakes that I've been making, no doubt as well, which you know you have to forgive the aircraft for, because some of the mistakes that have been made I've caused. But this would be an absolute nightmare on VATSIM, so I wouldn't bother. I just wouldn't take it on the VATSIM network. It's nowhere near in a position that you can confidently fly it on the VATSIM network. Even the fly-by-wire A32NX, when that was released in the early days, that was more advanced than this, which is crazy, but that's just the way it is. Top of descent in about, what have we got, 100 miles. We will look at 80 miles to that waypoint there. And again, it's down to us to work out, because we don't have VNAV. So we just have to monitor everything. Yeah, Ace. Everybody's got their own thoughts. It's also a different... yeah, I'll let other people deal with that question. Yeah, I prefer the high fidelity stuff. I can appreciate this for where it's at though, but I think to be like, wow, that's amazing, when actually they've had, let's face it, 2 years to code an LNAV and or VNAV, because they had 12 months of development prior to the release of the E190, 175, released it anyway under early access, promised LNAV VNAV within a few months, pushed it back, now an extra whole year later we still don't have an LNAV and VNAV. They need to pull their finger out of their backside and get a custom LNAV VNAV put into this. That's my thoughts. If other people were saying, yeah, wicked, buy away, then that's down to them, but it's also potentially their own style of simming. That's not necessarily my cup of tea. Dpod, hello buddy. 40 quid for this is steep in his opinion. He says the most he'd pay is 20 quid, especially combining both packages. 80 quid for the E-Jets 170 and 190 packs is just crazy. And that's early access. That's before the price goes up. Adrian, we are, yes, shortly going to descend into Chisinau. Is it Chisinau or Chisinau? Chisinau. Simon, hello buddy. Yes, if the devs can do it on a freeware A32NX, then there's no excuse. Lilo Pilot, well that's because the pitch was incorrect. Because it doesn't have VNAV. So what I was trying to actually fly to, which is where I then had to deactivate auto thrust because it decided to fight it, was that 1,000 foot constraint, which is only 400 feet above the runway elevation, and because it doesn't have a VNAV, it doesn't recognise that, so it just wanted to blast through to 5,000, which is what we had set, which is not good. It also didn't have, so it's in the Navigraph nav data because I've checked it in other aircraft, but because it doesn't have a VNAV, where is it? There we go, max 205 knots for the turns. It doesn't have anything like that in there either, so this is the kind of SID that's quite technical. In theory should be quite simple, but this aircraft just cannot handle in its current form. If it was a different style of departure, which just had a climb up to a certain altitude without lots of step constraints, then I think it wouldn't have been a problem, and we would just follow the pitch commands on the flight director.
With Malta 165, taxi via Delta Echo, backtrack approved, runway 32, report ready for departure.
But I also find it remarkably surprising that FSS are devoting, as I said earlier on, they're spreading themselves very thin, so they've got somebody helping Aerosoft with their A330, which I think is bizarre. I didn't realise FSS were a marketing firm as well as an aircraft developer. You've then also got this team where they've got one person working on the custom LNAV and VNAV, and then another person working on the custom autopilot, which are both huge undertakings. And if there's only one guy dealing with, or two guys in total dealing with these three major features, I'm not hopeful for even another 12 months this having a custom FMS and LNAV, VNAV and autopilot. And then they're still finding time to develop things like their new TechNam, which they've just released. I think what they need to do is relook at their resources and say, right, yeah, we're earning X amount from Aerosoft by doing their marketing for their A330 or their project leads, whatever it is for their A330 project, but actually we need to pull our resources into just getting this right. That's my thoughts.
With Malta 165, reset scope 1000.
I mean, ultimately this has the potential to be a really fantastic add-on. the model and the animations and what they've done so far is really nice. It's quite impressive, and I really like what they've done with the model itself and the flight dynamics, how it feels. Certainly hand flying that SID, it felt quite nice. But it's that FMS and everything else. It's just they're so important.
Osprey 2105, say again.
Osprey 2105 on a 5-mile final, our nav runway 27.
27 or 26?
2105, Roger. Wind 280 degrees, 11 knots. Runway 26, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 27, Osprey 2.
Runway 26, not runway 27.
Osprey 2105, clear to land, runway 26.
Runway 26.
There we go. 27 is just a taxiway in real life, as I think Doc said earlier on. It's getting dark now, so you know what we could also have a little look at?
So Osprey
Boink.
2105.
No. Boink. Cabin lights. So this all works. No smoking sign. Seatbelt sign if we had it on, that would be on as well. And we've got the cabin lighting, which we've set to automatic. So throughout the stages of the flight, the cabin ambient lighting will change. If we just look down as well and up. So you know, these are the features that I think are really nice. And you know, they can do this really nicely, but I just think there needs to be more focus on that custom autopilot, that custom LNAV and VNAV, and I keep going on about it, but it is so important. It's enough to kind of ruin the experience.
Runway 32, clear for takeoff.
Runway 32, clear for takeoff with a Malta 165.
It's also frustrating having to use this. I don't like heads-up displays. Systems are more important than looks, as Thomas says there. And Richie, hello buddy, saying devs should take a page out of Phoenix's book when it comes to developing aircraft. They've got just one great aircraft so far. Just imagine when there are others. And this is the problem with this early access stuff. You know, they say that it allows them to continue development with their various projects, but it does shut out a large portion of the community, doesn't it, really, when you look at the folks like us that want the high fidelity, or they want at least a reliable level of systems, which means that we can take this on VATSIM quite safely. Without it, it does distract
Bucharest Ida, Sky Travel 4476.
And remove the experience a bit.
4476, radio loud and clear.
Oof. Hello to buddy, welcome! Matthew, yes, exactly, precisely my issue as well. As you say there, it's been a year and still not even a sniff of an actual FMS.
4476, final runway 26.
Sky Travel 4476, Roger, continue approach.
What are the minuses of this airplane, Tezja? I was just mentioning them, buddy. No custom autopilot, no custom LNAV, no custom VNAV, no custom FMS, and they are major flaws in this. As an entire year's development, and they haven't got progress for it yet. I think it's just, I think it's worrying. And I don't think it bodes well for ongoing development either with this, to be honest. I'm surprised by it. A lot of people said that actually they've made good progress. I can't notice beyond textures and a few of the internal systems, as we explored earlier on, some of this stuff that frankly is just not important in comparison to having a working FMS LNAV VNAV autopilot and auto throttle as well, which was messy as heck on departure. Then they've got to focus on getting those right first. The emissives are really good. Just got to turn these down a little bit. Oh, too dark. Matthew's saying there, as Lucas said, as a modern airliner is its FMS, and without it, it's just not the aircraft. So you've got things like this, which I think
With Malta 165 identified.
they're kind of buttons that are animated, but they don't do anything.
Copy, with Malta 165.
They don't do anything. Alright, but they are animated. That's a bit confusing. I noticed it earlier on and I thought, you know what, we'll try it. Now it's gone dark, we'll give it a go. From the outside, you can see the lights.
Osprey 90 security.
$50 miles.
Sky Travel 4476, go expect light landing clearance.
111 miles to boosters apparently. Crikey. Still got a way to go yet. Nope. Ah, there we go. ICAS. Oh, that's too much.
Sky Travel 4476.
Ooh, retrofire, I'm not sure, buddy.
26 clear to land.
Just like put a little sneaky thing about the F70 and F100, didn't they, the other day? yeah.
Osprey 2105, apologies, you're very quiet. Vacated runway to
Jurassic Lark, of course, yeah.
Charlie.
Osprey 2105, recontact me on 133 decimal 3.
133.
That made a significant shift, I think, in progress for MSFS generally, which propelled this into its own category of greatness. I think the sim itself, thanks to fly-by-wire. But FSS are a company charging money for early access of a product which they've had a whole year to improve, and the key things are still not even, as Matthew said, there's still not even a sniff of them yet, and I think that's disappointing. And dare I say, I don't think it's that forgivable either, to be fair. Rain, as somebody said earlier on, in Chisinau, so we'll just run that meta in the live chat again. So we can see what the weather's doing. And I think we'll run with low auto brake in this. There we go, so light rain, 280 at 11 knots, overcast 3,600, temperature +6, dew point -0, and QNH 1031. We need to put our minimums in,
Stand 15, Lima 3, Lima
which
1,
is going to be Category C aircraft 480.
Osprey 2105 has vacated runway 26 at Charlie.
Osprey 2105, Roger, taxi via Charlie 1, cross runway 26, correction, cross runway 09.
Yeah, it's very much like what TFDI Designs have done with their MD-11 Evans, so you've got to pay for that. It's about £80, which is crazy, eye-watering levels of money for an aircraft that isn't capable of very much at all. On the promise that it will be better at some point in the future.
Final runway 27, but you landed at runway 26, just to confirm the situation.
So I initially had planned for runway 27, and then that's the instruction I was giving all the way on to on arrival, and then on final you told me to land on runway 26. So we did a switch over to runway 26, Osprey 2105.
Roger, thank you.
Runway 27 was never an active runway. Yeah, true. Yeah, we're still waiting for the Aerosoft A330 release date, Evans, but FSS are the project leads for the Aerosoft A330. They've got somebody managing that for them, which is why I said earlier on, I just think they've stretched themselves too thin in pursuit of cash. You can't project manage a different developer's A330 whilst making a Tecnam P2012 aircraft and the other Tecnam aircraft, plus their Sea Light thing, plus whatever else they're developing, plus the E170, 175, plus the E190, E195 with, say, 4 people. It's just, you can't do that. Personally, I think it would have been better if they didn't release this, actually just sorted the FMS out, and sorted the autopilot out, and sorted the LNAV and VNAV out on the 170, 175. Work on that, get that ready, then push all of those systems into the 190, 195. Okay, that's jumped out of standard, so we can't pre-arm that. So, performance, what have we got? Landing page, runway heading, we've got to put all of this in. 261. Zero degrees.
Osprey 784, when ready, descent fly level.
They're landing flat 5 there, look, instead of flat full. So we'll run with that. We'll select flat 5 just to see what happens.
110,
Approach type MPA and Cat 1. Ice no. Landing weight.
Osprey 932.
That's just automatically updating. That's fine. Sammy, welcome buddy, joining us as a bronze frequent flyer. Great to have you on board.
Bucharest radar identified, expect buses
280 at 1.
Echo arrival, expect ILS approach, runway 26.
10 knot headwind, 4 knot crosswind, so that's nice to see. And there's our landing speeds, approach speeds. They're all greyed out at the moment, so that's not a feature.
Osprey X-ray Golf, expect buses 7 Echo arrival, ILS approach, runway 26.
And descent at the moment.
Buses 7 Echo ILS 26 Osprey 3 X-ray.
We don't really have much functionality with that.
784 able to accept air nav approach.
What do you reckon, folks? Nighttime approach,
784.
or wind the time back? Matthew saying spot on. One of the best developers in the industry, PMDG, really does not does serious work on program at a time.
Sky Travel 4476, bye bye.
I'm misreading that, I think. Matthew there saying spot on. One of the best developers in the industry, PMDG, really does not really does serious work on one program at a time. So they don't try and do everything at once, and therefore accomplishes none of it. What they do is they just focus on one thing and do it well. Simon, they do.
Osprey 569er Delta.
Few for sunset.
Descent flight level 1.
So what we can do is wind the time to about there, and then whack that pause button so the light will remain here forever. I've got the Stream Deck kind of small, like, or medium-sized one, AV8. Matthew, so I thought I was for a moment then. Interesting.
3331 Bucharest radar, hello.
Oh no, I don't aviate. To be honest, I don't really understand the Stream Deck all that well myself.
200 squawk 1000.
I think it's time for a gentle descent.
Via departure L-1 Mike.
So we want to be at Lusav.
Flight level 200, squawk
flight level 70.
Malta 3331.
Which gives us almost 80 miles.
Read back correct. Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, when ready descent fly level 110.
That was at descent 110 for Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
With Malta 165, release to Bucharest 122, decimal 030.
Well, that was a yes, I assume.
122.030 with Malta.
So now we've got to go to vertical speed mode. And down we go. I mean, the neat feature here that I quite like is the fact that you can just drop this. You can just select this little area here and scroll to change the speed. Same with this one to change the altitude.
After buses, maintain present heading and expect radar vectors for runway 26.
Oh, thank goodness. After buses, maintain present heading and expect vectors for 26 Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Jolly good. Well, radar vectors makes things a bit simpler. So now we can be stepped down by air traffic control. We don't need to worry about things like LNAV, VNAV, and all that stuff.
3001 converging, 784.
We'll go to 1800.
Osprey 569 Delta when converging, speed 280.
280 converging, Osprey 569 Delta.
Bucharest radar with Air 407.
Has he got radio set to auto tune on the nav? No, so let's get these tuned in. 1099. Oops. 1099. .1099. 1137 is the Chisinau VOR in case we need to go around. And I'll tune that into both just for reference if I switch one instead of the other by accident or whatever else. So Dwal says cheating on the time is not what he calls flight simulation. Use only for comparisons, he says. But this allows us to see the emissives at night, plus the aircraft outside with the lights, plus the situation outside the flight deck, so that we can see what the pitch is like of the aircraft on approach and all that sort of stuff as well. Plus it looks good. 109, that's all good, that's set. Can't set a course yet. That's shown blank, which is interesting. We'll push this for speed and Mach on conversion in a moment. We'll just set to 270. Progress page, we haven't looked at that actually today, but you can see there from Narca, Buses, 26 miles to go for that. And we've got 58 to Lucev, and then 59 track miles to our destination. And you can see the temperature is beginning to decrease as we descend as well. And there are our fuel calculations.
Osprey 569 Delta, descend flight level 110.
Time 110, Osprey 569 Delta.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, leave Buses on heading 100.
Leave Buses heading 100, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 784, descend 4,000 feet, QNH
so heading?
031.
Descend 4,000 feet.
It said 100, didn't it?
784.
We've actually got a right turn. Looks like we'll be vectored south. So when you're on VATSIM and you're getting vectors, it makes it a bit effortless. It makes it much easier. We've got one aircraft there ahead of us, descending into Chisinau with us. Have I done the course heading for the ILS, Ian? Not yet, because it won't let me. I've been twizzling it, but it's not changing anywhere, interestingly enough. Hold on, preview. I assume it would be VOR 1. Course 261. So we'll set that. Buses coming up. 8 miles. And then we're going to go to heading mode. And then what we'll do is we'll flick the FMS mode across into the VOR mode instead.
Osprey 569er Delta, descend flight level 50.
I hope not, Rab. I hope not. Let's see, 2400 foot per minute. We'll just see what happens here with the descent rate. So engines have spooled back to about 50% and 1.
Osprey 784, reduce normal speed.
Reduce normal speed, 784.
3 miles to
Osprey
Buses.
569 Delta, resume normal speed.
Heading.
Normal speed, 569 Delta.
Get rid of half bank mode. See what it does.
Osprey 569 Delta, turn left heading 0.
Officer Oki, great to hear, buddy.
Direct
How are you finding VATSIM then? Good to hear you've dived in and you're doing alright.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, descend fly level 60.
Send level 60, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. 60 sets. Oop. 100 speeds there. Okay, so now it's there, it's overriding, it's telling us there that it can't manage the speed, the little limitation illumination there. Bring it back to 1800 foot per minute. ILD, so I've gone to VOR 1, DME1, ILD 27.4 miles direct to the runway, it's 5 minutes away.
The star descend to 2000.
1099, 1099.
We'll report when established on flight 784.
We'll go to landing page. We'll pop that in there. Landing init page. Can't really change that anymore. Cool. Alright, well, we've got our speeds.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, expect about 40 track miles until touchdown.
Roger, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 569er Delta, expect about 40 track miles until touchdown.
Please put your backrest.
40 touchdown, Osprey 569.
Seatbelt signs.
Away your tray tables and open the window shades.
We'll go sterile cockpit as well.
Delta, descend 4000 feet, QNH 1031.
What we got, let's see. There's the seatbelt signs.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, descend fly level 50.
Send flight level 50, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Luggage must remain on board in case of an emergency.
Osprey 932 when ready,
That's that issue with the key key lines there for the dials. Set 250.
At fly level 150 or below.
So what he's done is he's vectored us to the south of the airfield, so Chisinau is just underneath here somewhere. Yeah, it's lukeairtool.net, Adam. Good spot there. That's as low as we can get that as well. Right, how do we get rid of? Okay, so lock mode's previewed now. ILD. We go preview mode there to lock 1. Course 261, so that's automatically gone from VOR mode to lock 1 instead of VOR 1. We can confirm there we've got the 3-letter identifier there as well. 2.5 nautical miles. We're just passing to the south of the field actually. It's just underneath the cloud down there somewhere. Do 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 do. .256. Our rate of descent's pretty nice. Okay, now let's see what happens if we deploy a bit of speed brake. So we'll go to about half. There's the speed brake. Procedure guide, make sure I'm on the approach bit. Climb descent.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, turn left heading 080.
Left 080, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Oh, there goes the... Oh, chuffing heck. There we go.
Osprey 569 Delta, speed 200.
I'm going to let the speed wash off a bit more here. To 220.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, when able, reduce speed to 200.
Wilco, reduce speed 200, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 932, descent fly level 110.
110.
So it's actually easy just to hover over the speed bit on the primary flight display and scroll instead. Speed brakes are out. Good deceleration actually. Quite nice. QNH was 1031.
Osprey 932, leave buses on heading 070. Vectors for ILS approach, runway 26.
Lights.
Vectors, leave. This is heading 070.
Whack the logo on as well. There we are. Look at that. Cracking bird. Really, really good external. It's just the internals need so much work. They've pushed me well away going, hold on, he can't do the ILS. Let's keep him well away from everyone else. I'm going to go to VL mode, which I think should activate, and it should go from FMS1 to VOR lock mode on the nav display. I've not done it before, it should do that I think. Let's click it and find out. If not, I'll quickly click FMS. Okay. Lock 1. Course 261. It went to number 2 there as well, actually, lock 2, but that's fine because I'd pre-tuned both, so it doesn't really matter. ILD is the active as well, so that's all correct. We're making sure that the course, the ILD, everything else, all those letters connect with that on our charts. Really important.
Right 180, Osprey 569 Delta.
into the darkness.
Osprey 569 Delta, descend to altitude 2,500 feet.
And down to 2,500, Osprey 569 Delta.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, expect another 2 minutes on this heading, descend to altitude 2,500 feet.
Roger, and descend 2,200 feet, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. 2,200 or 2,500? Where's my terrain? Minimums we don't want to change. I want the Barrow now. 1031 for the QNH.
Osprey 3 X-ray Golf, descend flight level 110.
Flight level 110, Osprey 3 X-ray Golf.
Osprey 569
Can't change
Delta,
that.
turn left heading 220 to intercept localizer, clear direct approach, runway 26.
Turn right 220 to intercept.
Crikey. Dark, dark, dark. Probably going to get rid of this FMS, sorry, the heads-up display, because it's a ruddy distraction. I hate
Osprey 569
these
Delta, contact me on 132.
in any aeroplane.
Sorry, can you give me that again, please, for 569 Delta?
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, monitor 133.3.
133.3, Osprey 569 Delta.
Control 784, establish.
Osprey 784, contact me on 133.3.
I think he gave us a monitor.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, turn left heading 350.
Left 350, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
And Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, monitor 133.3.
133.3 to monitor Austrian 6 Kilo Victor.
Osprey 932, descent flight level 50.
50, Osprey 932.
1333.
Osprey 3 X-ray Golf, turn left heading 075, descent flight level 9.
Speed brake is away. Dwight, what do you mean, buddy? Bear in mind, I'm in a new aeroplane that I'm not familiar with, so my workload is very high.
Runway 26, clear to land.
By the way, where the controller has said monitor 1333, folks, that means I just listen on 1333 and I wait for contact. Ground proximity alert there, that's nice to see on the PFD. And there's the airport.
Osprey 932, turn right heading 085.
So apparently for landing, speed retard mode will activate 30 feet above the ground. However, the speed reduction is quite slow, resulting in a long flare. Therefore, the best practice for landing in this is at decision altitude, disconnect the auto throttle. At 50 feet, raise the nose slightly. At 30 feet, reduce the throttle manually to idle and raise the nose further, i.e. flare. Usually 6 to 7 degrees nose pitch up, they say, according to the FSS documentation. And then when the nose gear is on the ground, apply reverse thrust. And then we've landed. That's the plan. Whether that works, I don't know. I'm going to hide terrain. because it's distracting. We've got visual with the ground at the moment, so we can see if we're going to hit anything. And we've got approach mode there, but we're hoping for a vector first. We've got indications for the ILS, so we're just below the profile and to the right of the line 2.
With Malta 3231 ready for the engine start.
Oh, I'm writing plenty down, Dwal. It's just my capacity bucket is a bit full today.
Startup approved.
Startup approved with Malta 331.
With Malta 3331, QNH 1038.
QNH 1038.
Let's pause the music as well. Let's get rid of that. So we're waiting for a left turn.
932, stop descent fly level 120.
Fairly imminently, he says, because we are coming up to 26,
stop descent fly level
which is this longer runway here. We're hoping for a 30-degree intercept.
And Osprey 569 is fully established for 26.
Osprey 569 Delta, Roger, expect late landing clearance.
We're welcome late landing clearance, Osprey 569 Delta.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, turn left heading 290 to intercept localizer, clear the ILS approach, runway 26.
Left 290 cleared ILS runway 26, roll report established, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Which acronyms are you confused about, Dwal? And I can try and explain the ones you're confused about, but they're not. I mean, they're usually the ones I use most flights. The things like Lock 1, for example, or Lock, ILS, LNAV, VNAV, that FMS as well, which is the brains of the aeroplane. They're all the ones that I would hope you would understand at least by now. Wait for this yellow line now to move. Once that starts to move, I'm going to smash approach button. I'm also going to now bring the speed down to our green dot speed of 180. With that, I'm going to go for flaps 2, which is 3 clicks for me on my Bravo.
Osprey 3X-ray Golf, continue descent fly level 90, expect vectors to avoid the restricted area.
Level 90.
Waiting for that movement. I've got to keep the mouse active because otherwise the sim makes it disappear and I need to be able to click immediately. This has got the default Asobo autopilot logic behind it, therefore it's a bit of a mess.
Osprey 3X-ray Golf, turn right heading 090.
090, Osprey 3X-ray.
Also need our speeds.
Control 784, runway vacated at Bravo 1.
Osprey 784, Roger, cross runway 26, correction, cross runway 27, taxi via Lima 3, Lima 4, stand 21.
Cross runway 27, Lima 3, Lima 4, stand 21, 784.
16 miles.
Osprey 932, recontact me on 133.3. Osprey 3X-ray Golf, continue
VREF 128. Wow, that's slow, isn't it? So approach mode's now armed. Lock and glide slope are active. Lock's now gone active, sorry. Glide slope's still armed, I should say. So glide slope down there in white is armed. Lock has now gone green, so that's the active mode. And it's doing what autopilot MSFS does. It's actually taking us slightly right.
180 knots, Osprey 90
Need to make sure my charts are ready as well. Coming up to 14 miles still, so we've got a bit of time. Altitude's good. SSD capacity and the speed, Neil, actually helps. So you want a fast, reliable SSD with a good speed on it. Climb on 261 to 2,500. So I'm actually now going to
569 Delta even has
click that and get it ready just to see what it does.
Osprey
We should be turning left.
Delta, Roger, taxi via Bravo,
Come on, plane.
Lima 3, Lima 4, stand 25, cross runway
I think we're
27.
overshooting this, or it's allowed itself to overshoot.
27 to, sorry, can you give me that stand again, please?
Osprey 569 Delta, any stand at your choice on Lima 4 on the left side.
Lima 4 on the left, Osprey 569 Delta.
160. What flap stage are we at? 3.
Osprey
Oh, look at the
784,
throttles.
service terminated, monitor Unicom, bye.
Let's go gear down.
Unicom 784, thank you for the addition.
Austrian 6 kilovictors established ILS 26, 11 miles. Just going to let it sort itself out here.
With Malta 3331, request taxi.
Not quite sure what it's doing, so we're having a little look, keep an eye on this. Might have to hand fly this whole thing. 33 knot crosswind though.
With Malta 3331, request taxi.
With Malta 3331, taxi via Alpha Delta
Approach speed 133.
Runway 25, report fully ready for departure.
Taxi Alpha Delta, back, Alpha Delta Golf, back track to runway 25, report fully ready for departure.
So we've got 5 degrees nose up at the moment, that seems quite high, and we're now at
right heading 270 to intercept localizer, descent
flap 5,
2,500 feet, clear ILS approach,
which is also there. So that's flaps 5. That seems quite nose high. Obviously we're not in the descent yet, but yeah, this is default autopilot. Wiggle, 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 as Doc's saying.
Osprey 982, turn right heading 270, descent to altitude.
Next time it's the Luke Air Tool, buddy. LukeAirTool.net, it's freeware, really good.
270, descent 2,500 clear Dallas, approach only.
Okay, so I think we're all set and ready.
X-ray Golf, descent to altitude 2,500 feet.
Just going to bring the time back a little bit here. I know it's a bit of a mess me doing that, but so we can see the aeroplane a bit better in our position.
6 Kilo Victor, speed 130 or greater until 4 DME, wind is 290 degrees, 9 knots, runway 26 clear to land.
Speed 130 or greater till 4 DME and runway 26 clear land, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Any second now, we should be hitting the ILS. Got an aircraft over here, apparently. There. On TCAS. Can't see him though. Got amber. Come on, glide slope.
Osprey 932, reduce speed 160 or less.
I don't want to slow down anymore because pitch is already high. 7 degrees, it's too much. But yeah, can you rely on this autopilot to fly you an approach in this sort of a messy way? It's difficult, isn't it, to work out. There goes the glide slopes, now armed and active. And quite a strong nose down pitch there to intercept, so again, little messy. I think if you're flying online, it wouldn't be so much of an issue. 133 for our approach speed. But this is all over the place. It's like it's had 6 gin and tonics before flying itself today. And now it's gone 4 red. It's lost the glide slope.
Osprey 3X Golf, continue left heading 290, clear ILS approach.
Autopilot off. Turn the oil damper off as well. For now, I'll have the rudder as well.
Osprey 932,
unreliable.
Heading 290 to intercept localizer, clear ILS approach, runway 26.
Let's get back on this ILS.
290 to intercept localizer and clear ILS.
runway 26, Osprey 93K.
Osprey 569er Delta, service terminated, monitor Unicom.
So that's still 5, 6, about 7 degrees nose up at the moment.
Signaling Osprey 569 overnight.
Man. Well, the 170, 175 I think is just the same. But look at this nose attitude. Crazy. I'm going to go to full flap, I think. Or shall we? Well, it says 6, 7 degrees nose up's fine, so actually I'll leave it. Because the manual says that, it should be fine. Hand flying, it feels okay. It's not too difficult. You can kind of understand what it's doing. You can preempt things as well. You can kind of get a feel for what the aeroplane's doing. Like there, where it's just sunk a little bit. As that speed, the wind's just dropped off. Auto throttle is off, so they're my throttles now. Continue. Oh, we've got 4 reds, but it's the profile I think is fine here. Looking at this. A little low. Reverse. Green. Yeah, we are in reverse. Jolly good. Auto brakes off. Don't know if you could hear that in the background as well. Hopefully you could. And we'll just gently come to a rolling. We'll just bring our speed down so we can vacate here at Bravo 1. Yeah, quite busy that. Hard work. Unnecessarily hard work as well, to be fair. But the aeroplane itself looks really, really nice. Just the handling, the default systems are so crap, it ruins it massively. I mean, that approach, it would have just kept wiggling all the way through to short final, I think. And you can't rely on that. Imagine if the weather was really pants, as someone else said in the live stream chat a minute ago. Basically living the dream, yes. The Austrian 6 Kilo Victor's vacated Bravo 1 from 26.
Osprey 3 X-ray Golf, wind 2807 knots, runway 26 clear to land.
Let's get rid of this.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, cross runway 27, taxi via Lima 3, Lima 4, standard your choice.
Cross 27, Lima 3, Lima 4, standard choice, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. Thank you very much for the ATC. Have a good night.
Austrian 6 Kilo Victor, service terminated, monitor Unicom. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye, Austrian 6 Kilo Victor. So 253 foot per minute. There's the touchdown. Ooh, shy of the zone. We're in the zone actually, but not at that big old aiming point there. So I did end up sinking a bit too low, but not bad for a first touchdown, is it? I don't think. We wanted stand
With Malta
5.
331, lined up on the runway 25, ready for departure.
With Malta 3331, wind is 0.
Handling by GSX Full Cool Grey.
Clear for takeoff.
Love that. Let's get our arrival announcements.
Osprey 932, we're already on 133.3.
Thank you.
Ah, 5 is right there anyway. 7, 5. Oh, it's next to the Osprey. So, APU.
To continue approach, you have traffic ahead 8 miles on short final, runway 26.
Okay, so there's another issue. APU won't start. There we go. You have to click it loads of times and then it starts. Let's follow our guy in. Yeah, this is freeware Chisinau. It requires quite a few dependents. I think 4 dependents. Yeah, don't be afraid, folks. If you're flying an approach in something like this, and you've got the aircraft and you're enjoying it, but you notice that actually you've got problems with the way in which the aircraft flies the approach, just turn the autopilot off, hand fly it in. Nose lights, strobes can come off, turning in, sterol can go off as well for the sterile cockpit, and then we'll bus the passengers in. Taxi light off. Oh, that's the good old MSFS braking bug. We'll open the windows, shall we? Got a whole load of jet blast. There's a lot of good stuff with this, with what they've done, isn't there? I'm sure you guys can agree. But the key features, the key functionality, after a whole year of progress, are still not done, and that's not, in my opinion anyway, it's not acceptable, as they are the key features that should be focused on before the animations of the rear cargo door being able to be opened, or something like that. Yeah, they said this would be released as a final product, and then all of a sudden this has appeared in version early access as well. So close. Come on, cross those. There we go. Heart brake on. That's really loud. Pop those shut. Please cut engines. APU shows on and 100. Oh, actually, sorry about the violent zooming. We want to go to the electrical tab here. And on the procedures guide, they haven't got a shutdown, interestingly enough. Checklist. After landing lights as required, flaps up. Oops. Trim 4 up and centered. So currently, wow, look at that trim, 9.4 up. My goodness. So we'll bring this back down to 4 up and centered. Roll and yaw are centered there. Pitch 4 up. And APU's on start as well. Transponders off, chocks and brakes set, engines off, hydraulic pump 3 alpha goes off. So realistically, we're going to turn the engines off first before applying chocks. And you can see the electrical screens here. Just keep an eye on those as I shut the engines down. APU's now taking the power, which is quite good to see. But again, they've worked on that, great. But let's get the real key stuff done first, shall we? Wheel chocks. Oh, off he goes. Logo. Nav beacon light strobes. Electric A off. Windshield heat off. Alrighty, let's disembark. GSX. Request deboarding. Should we see how we've done on Volanta? No, on New Sky, sorry. So I was a bit brave doing this on VATSIM anyway, but I thought, you know what, I'll do this anyway on New Sky and just see how it handles our flight, because it does recognise it, which is good. So Vienna to Chisinau, 9231 profit, happy days. Oh, got a 10. Lovely job. And let's have a look at that wavy approach that it did, as somebody mentioned a minute ago. Yeah, look at that. So I overshot the ILS when intercepting, and then it was wiggle, 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 wiggle. You can see here, that's, oops, that's where I've turned the autopilot off, and then just flown in a bit more of a straighter line.
Maintain runway heading, climb 3000, Osprey 93.
Open cargo front, open cargo rear. so it doesn't recognise the rear again. And the doors, we can either press those toggles, or as we saw earlier on,
vectors for ILS approach, runway 26.
We can pop this open here.
Heading 05 and vectors for runway 26, Osprey 932.
And we can punch the doors open like so. There's the coach. What do we want? I want, is it 0? No, wrong buttons. Bam. Martin, hello buddy, thank you very much. There we are. So now we've got both open. We can turn the seatbelt signs off as well. There we go. Oh, and the beacon. We can start to disembark the aircraft. So a couple of issues with the GSX profile. That's not anything really I'm going to hold against the aircraft. Those things could be solved very, very easily by somebody just fixing a couple of values within the GSX profile for the jet. But I'm interested to see them both disembark out front and rear doors this time round, because we didn't have that on the way out, did we? That should be quite interesting to see. Here they go. But it's available at the moment for about 9. Let's see, Contrail.shop/BritishAvGeek. For £35, including 19% VAT. And it's an early access phase, so still bugs, lots of missing features. And that, obviously, the vectors on approach saved us from having that weird behaviour with the way in which it will go direct to the airport when we enter the star, which is a bit of a mess. And also that GSX thing there, meaning I can't take a screenshot.
Qualification for clearance, call sign again.
Interested to see what you guys all think and what you thought as well. I was very much enjoying your opinions throughout the live chat too. It's quite important you guys have your say as much as I have mine, and you get to see it in the flesh on a VATSIM flight where we really push this to well, to its maximum ability, really. Have we got any more on final? Let's have a little look. A couple of tweaks. Let's see, let's go Volanta. We've got Osprey 932 left. 2 or 3 people coming in. We've also got to figure out what to do over the next day or two as well. If you think, you know what, I'll have the gamble, I will have a little go at this to see what we think, and you're going to buy it anyway, then click the link in the description down below. You purchase it via Contrail. That way every time you get an update and stuff as well, it will feed through to us. I think tomorrow we're heading to New Zealand, I think, actually. We're going to be in the SWS PC-12 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, heading out of the new Inibuilds Palmerston North for another stream. But I've got to take my car in for service, because it's there's a feature of it which is very broken at the moment, and they're going to have to take it for a week, so I've got to drop that off tomorrow. And it's all dependent on whether or not I get that done in good time or not. I think it is New Zealand tomorrow, Rab. Yeah, I think so. No second sector today, virtual pilot. I think one's enough on aeroplanes like this. I think certainly on VATSIM. I wouldn't be confident doing it a second leg with this, I don't think, because there's just too much missing with key systems to take it on a network like VATSIM or IVAO or that sort of thing. This is very much an aircraft in the current state that you can use on multiplayer and offline, where you don't need to worry about constraints, speed restrictions, altitude restrictions, all of the technical side of stuff in relation to your flights. It could barely fly that ILS approach. We saw how messy that was. So I wouldn't like to think if it was rather poor weather-wise, I think it would really start to crumble. Kras saying there, he started out great, the aircraft, but the weakness in the aircraft quickly became apparent, and therefore he's going to stick to the PMDG, the Flabawar A32NX and the Fenix. We've not flown the A32NX for a little while, actually, to be fair. Maybe that's something that we could look at over the next few days as well, because I've got 1 or 2 more streams this side of Christmas in me before I go about to work. I am working over Christmas, unfortunately, so tomorrow, probably Tuesday for a stream, and then beyond that it will be the 26th or 27th of December for the next live streams. And the other side of Christmas is going to be very exciting. Let me just leave you guys with that. But PC-12 action tomorrow should be quite interesting. Flying it live for the very first time. 3rd flight ever in the PC-12. Still learning that. Or 4th flight, in fact, actually, ever in the PC-12. Still lots to be done with that. But a very enjoyable package from those guys. And we'll discuss various things. And we'll dig into that. The fly-by-wire pics that you're mentioning there, AV8 in the live chat, because I haven't seen those, to be fair. Doc says, are we going to explore the scenery? It's freeware Chisinau. It requires a couple of dependencies, but it's not the sort of, you know, we don't really need to kind of explore this too much. There are elements to it that are missing, like this very basic terminal building and textures, but the emissives there for the lights are quite nice, as is the custom tower. That's pretty good. Let's see. Do you have a face? Oh my goodness. No. No is the answer. Boo. Get out of here. It's going to have an engine flame out during takeoff, no doubt. But this is on flightsim.to, this Chisinau freeware scenery, so you can download it. It's all good. Hello, Pronka. And it gives you some options around wonderful Moldova. But in the meantime, anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, folks. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow for something a little different. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the day. And I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.
Very nice.